And friends, I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and partner with my son Kerry Meldon in Meldon Law, and we're very excited to be here today. Boy, there's a lot going on in North Central Florida. The World Equestrian Center, the Rileys popping. I went to a Gator baseball game this week, and actually Friday night and Sunday, and my son Kerry and I got to throw out the first pitches of the game simultaneously, which was reportedly never done before. So we were very happy about that. And for those of you that get our newsletter, Meldon Law Talk, you can see pictures of us on the mound throwing the ball. It was great. The only problem was I couldn't get it all the way to the catcher, so it kind of hit home plate and bounced up. But we had a good catcher, and he caught it. So anyhow, it was a blast. And the Gators were down 8-3, and they came back and scored 14 straight runs, and wound up winning 17-8. So that was a good ending. A couple other things are going on. Gator softball is taking on Auburn this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, April 6th through the 8th. So check it out at the Katie Presley Softball Stadium. Terrific, right across from the men's baseball stadium. And it's a blast. And the softball games only last 7 innings, and they're really fun and exciting. If you have kids, go, and it's, I don't know, $10 to get in. It's terrific. And if you want to go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law, you will be able to get your shot at getting some free tickets. We always have ticket giveaways for baseball, softball right now. At other times it's football, basketball, gymnastics, whatever the sport is. We like to support the Gators because we live in North Central Florida, and it's fun. Why not have a terrific time? So the orange and blue game, for those of you that don't know, every year the football team practices in the spring, and that culminates in a orange and blue game. So half the team is on one side, half's on the other, and the games are really well attended. There'll probably be 50 or 60,000 people that'll show up for this game, and they moved it from the normal Saturday afternoon to a Thursday night, so it'll be televised all over. I don't know if ESPN's picking it up or what, but it's going to be a huge game. And Meldon Law is doing a fan fest in front of the basketball arena, the O-Dome, right next to the football stadium, and we're giving away all kinds of free swag. All you have to do is come up, spin the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is fun because everybody wins. So you get up and spin the Wheel of Fortune, you will definitely win a prize. And there are some really nice things like this mug or tumbler that I have here. That's on the Wheel of Fortune list of things you can win. And this is a terrific tumbler. I drive around in my car with it all the time. And keeps your water cool and your coffee hot. So what more could you ask? So anyhow, 7:30 Thursday, April 13th, the orange and blue game. And get there early. It's although it's a 7:30 start, we're going to be out there at 5 o'clock giving away stuff right in front of the main entrance to the O-Dome. So check it out, and you're going to have a good time. Let me update you. The Lady Gators are in the finals. The finals are going on in 2 weeks, I believe. And unfortunately, the star, Trinity Thomas, the star of the team, got injured on day one up in Pennsylvania. And the competition this past weekend was in Pittsburgh, and the Gators were heavily favored to win out of the 4 teams there, and the top 2 teams go to the finals. Well, Trinity Thomas injured herself on the floor routine, stopped in the middle of the routine, and we don't know if she's going to be back for the finals, but knowing her, she will give it every ounce of effort to make it back and star. She's one shy of the most perfect tens of any gymnast in college history. I think she's at 27 and the record's 28, and so anyhow, she's got to get one more perfect 10, and she could certainly do that, and then she'd be tied for the all-time record. So let's root on the Gators. This will definitely be on TV, so take a look at your schedule, and it'll be a week from, I believe it'll be a week from this Saturday. So let's check it out and see what we can do. I think it's April 15th. Let's see what we can do to support the Gators and bring home a national title in gymnastics. Everything else is moving along. The Wombat, the Wombash. Wombat is the radio station, and they have the coolest radio. It's 90.1, and their call letters, WMBT, Wombat. And so anyhow, if you haven't listened to this station, check it out. It's really cool. They play great music, and they play different music at different times. You know, Saturday morning is jazz. Most of the other time is, you know, classics that we've grown up with. However, they also play cutting-edge music, and but it's generally very listenable music. I don't think there's too much heavy metal on the Wombat, and we love working with them. So Meldon Law is co-sponsoring the Wombash, which is a festival that's going to take place, I believe it's May 5th, at Heartwood Sound Studios in Gainesville, Florida. And that's going to be very cool because Sister Hazel is going to be playing. And Sister Hazel, of course, is a hometown favorite and a great band. And they do a terrific show, but there's going to be lots of other acts playing. As a matter of fact, there's Sister Hazel is not even the top billed act. There's one other act that's Against Me, or I forget, one of those groups is playing that is very, very popular. So let's check out the Wombash. Just go to Wombat 90.1 WMBT. Try that. And see what you can check out. Wombat Radio, and the Wombash is the festival. It's going to start Friday over at the brewery right near Heartwood, and then we're going to migrate over to the festival on Saturday over at Heartwood. Friday night's free. Saturday with Sister Hazel's a $50 seat, which is very, very reasonable. So you know, get on it before they sell out. That's about it right now in North Central Florida. We're getting excited. I'm going to be here next week, and then I'm off to Israel for a couple weeks for the it's a very significant event, the 75th anniversary of the birth of the State of Israel, and I'm going with my wife Patricia and my daughter Jessica and some other friends, and actually there's going to be 800 of us on the Miami mega mission to Israel, so that's going to be quite a trip. We're spending 2 weeks over there, and the group we're going with, we're going to spend one of the 2 weeks with them. So I'm looking forward to it, and I've been to Israel 3 or 4 times before, and it's an amazing country. They've done amazing things. So if you ever get a chance, go, and don't be afraid. I've been there a number of times, and it's a lot safer than being in the heart of New York City, believe me. So anyhow, that's my rant for today, and we're getting ready to have a terrific guest on, and we're going to be back in 2 minutes, and we will see you on the other side of the commercial breaks on Meldon Law and Friends.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Carrie allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey! Somebody else hit us.
Here we go again. Back to Meldon Law and Friends. I've got a great guest here, my new friend, Joey O'Hearn from the Lake City Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're going to sit down and talk a little bit about Lake City, the undiscovered part of Florida that's being discovered now, right?
For sure.
So let's go by way of background. You were from Lake Butler.
The big town of Lake Butler. Not many people have heard of it. It's one of those, I like to call it a country song kind of town. I think there's 4 stoplights at the most. And a few years ago, I made the big move 30 minutes west to Lake City.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because Meldon Law has an office in Lake City.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about, what communities, Lake City serves, and certainly Live Oak is one, and Jasper is one. But a lot of people don't know Lake Butler. A lot of people head over to Lake City because you guys are really starting to grow. And if you want a good choice of restaurants now, you just show up in Lake City, right?
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit. Okay, your background. You went to the University of Florida, and you got a Bachelor of Arts degree. What was your major?
In public relations.
Oh, okay. So this job fits in perfectly with your college degree, which doesn't always happen.
For sure. Well, I actually ended up at the chamber in a roundabout way, and then right before the pandemic, I decided to enroll at UF. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that. So the Chamber of Commerce, can you give us a little bit of a history as far as Lake City, Columbia County, and the role that the Chamber has played in the past and how that role is emerging?
For sure. So the Lake City, Columbia County Chamber of Commerce is over 100 years old. We celebrated our centennial anniversary in 2021. So we're one of the longest standing Chamber of Commerces throughout the state.
If you go downtown in Lake City, you can see a bunch of old buildings. And
Sure.
What was the main industry up there back 100 years ago?
A lot of agriculture, a lot of timber, a good old rural country town. For sure. So throughout the years, obviously the role of the chamber has changed and developed. Coming out of the pandemic, we have really shifted what we're doing, and that's to continue to be a valuable resource for members. A lot of our members are what we call small businesses, or your mom and pop stores, or businesses. So for a lot of those members, we are their marketing department, their HR department. We're constantly providing them resources and tools that can make their life as a business owner a whole lot more simple, as we can step in and help them out wherever we can.
We've been to some of the chamber mixers. As a matter of fact, we had one of the mixers when Meldon Law opened up.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. We had a band there and a party, and that's one of the nice things about the chamber is it's a social organization.
For sure. And I always like to ask people, are you looking to get something from the chamber or through the chamber? You have large businesses who rely on the chamber to advocate for them on a state and federal level. You have a lot of small businesses who they rely on us to provide them resources. So while it can be very social, we are a fun social bunch down in Old Lake City. We also do a lot of professional development, personal development, and business development.
So if somebody's starting a small business or already has one going, what are some of the resources that the chamber can provide them?
A few things. So we do a thing called the Better Business Series. We do it once a month, and we basically bring in professional speakers to pour into our business owners. And it's a professional development opportunity. So in January, we did one that was all about marketing to your ideal customer. In February, we did one that was creating a great workplace culture, and also some tips when it comes to hiring and firing and everything in between. In March, we actually brought in our Small Business Development Center contact, and he talked about all the things that the SBDC can offer you as a business owner. In April, we're doing one regarding accessing capital for your business. We also provide a program called Leadership Lake City. It's a 10-week program. We do it every other year, so we did it last year. It's the premier leadership development program in our community. So those participants get a behind-the-scenes look on all things Columbia County, while also walking away with leadership skills.
Well, it's amazing because a small business owner can't really have access to all of that
Sure.
kind of, help. And I think it inspires a lot of people to run their business better.
For sure. A recent study came out from LinkedIn that said people are 89% more likely to do business with a chamber member versus a non-chamber member on the local landscape. Because a lot of times, being a chamber member offers you credibility because the constituents in your community know that those people are consistently working on bettering their business to better their community. And that's one of the great things about our chamber members that I'm really just proud of. A lot of our chamber members are not just chamber members, they're community investors. They're doing this because they know it is raising the tide for all boats. They know that it's helping make Columbia County a great place to live, work, and play, while also growing their own personal business.
Let's talk about Columbia County. before the show started, you were mentioning how, a lot of people see Lake City as the first place when they're coming down from up north, heading to Disney World or some other place,
I always laugh. We get a lot of foot traffic in our office, which we recently relocated probably about 6 months ago.
Where'd you relocate to?
So we were down in downtown Lake City, in a beautiful historic home, and after a lot of debate and discussion and assessment, we actually bought a new location off Highway 47. In between the Life South, Bloodmobile, and the United Way of Swanee Valley. We completely renovated our offices. And we still get a lot of foot traffic. And it makes me laugh because I ask people, well, how did you find Lake City? And they always say, we got off the interstate. Okay, well, welcome to town. And it's consistent, the amount of people who are moving to North Florida in the last few years, specifically since the pandemic.
Well, when you think about it, if you take I-75 or the Florida Turnpike, and if you're heading north, say you're in South Florida, right, and you want to find a place that is kind of friendly. You can buy land at an affordable price. You can get yourself set up, whether it's a home or a mobile home on a piece of property. Until you get up to Lake City, there's not that many affordable places anymore.
For sure, and that's the great thing about the Lake City, Columbia County area, is if you're a business owner, it's a very pro-business community. It's also a great community to raise a family or start a family. We've got great schools, both from a K-12 perspective and as well as a local small college, or excuse me, a community college perspective. So there are a lot of great reasons to call Columbia County a great place to live, work, and play.
Well, so I don't know if you remember, but there was a Holiday Inn on US 90 just east of I-75.
Still there.
It's still there?
Yep.
Well, so I started practicing law here in Gainesville in 1971, and one of my first clients was Tom Petty and his group Mudcrutch. So they asked me to book them into some gigs. They had been playing in Gainesville, but not that many out-of-town gigs. So I went up to the Holiday Inn in Lake City, and I booked in Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Oh, yeah. They were called Mudcrutch at the time. And they had a bar there, and it was this is a different Holiday Inn, though. This is 1971. And I think the feedback that I got was that the manager of the bar wanted them to play all top 40 songs. And they decided that they wanted to play some of their own songs. Right. So when the manager complained to him, right, rather than argue with them, before every song that they wrote themselves, they would say, and here's another top 40 hit. and it worked. Although they didn't get booked in again at the Holiday Inn in Lake City. I think it was maybe mutual, but because they were intent on doing their own music. But that's how far back my ties to Lake City go. And back then, the Holiday Inn was very prominently located in a good location. But that whole area where US 90 and I-75 come together has completely exploded in the last 20 years.
Oh, absolutely. I moved to Columbia County in 2015, and even the growth from then is exponential. I told somebody just recently, driving down Highway 90, which is where a lot of commerce takes place, it's like, that's new, that wasn't here, that wasn't here. And we're poised for even more growth. I can tell you the county itself oversees economic development. I have the pleasure of sitting on the economic development board, and the amount of growth that is being planned and on the way, Columbia County will be much more different in the next 10 years.
Well, is it going to change the environment in a positive way, you think?
I would say yes. I mean, obviously, jobs are always important. The county is working on that, and we're lucky to be a partner in making sure that great jobs are on the way, and also just growth and expansion. If you've been in Columbia County in the recent years, Highway 90, which again is one of the main strips, is quite congested at the moment, and the county's working overtime to put in resources and utilities in other parts of the county to offset some of that and really lay out a comprehensive plan when it comes to growth. I always like to say growth is going to happen whether you want it to or not. It's planned growth is what you want, not just chaotic, unplanned, unorganized growth. So growth is coming. I do think it will improve the community overall. There's a lot coming down the pipeline when it comes to new schools being built and renovated, as well as new employers on the way.
Well, and it's a lovely place to live. Columbia County has some of the friendliest people.
For sure.
They're just very nice, and you go in and it's a different kind of atmosphere. I think the fact that now people have a really good choice of restaurants
Sure.
to go to, right? It used to be a fairly small choice, and now it's a much
Right.
larger choice. We located Meldon Law right near the Super Walmart because I don't know anybody that hasn't been to the Super Walmart, right?
For sure. And, we host monthly what we call our business after hours events. We had one a few weeks ago, and it's always nice when people say, I'm not from Lake City, my business is actually in Gainesville, and I joined the chamber, or we're from Ocala or Live Oak or wherever. And they say, you guys are so nice and welcoming. That's such a thing. We love to hear that. Because that's one thing I will say personally about Columbia County, is it's starting to get a big town look and feel to it. But as long as we keep that small town hospitality, I think we'll continue to prosper.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on the whole, we call it the Tri-County area from our standpoint, because we're always looking at, if people are seriously injured in a accident and need our help, where do they go to? And there's actually, you got Live Oak, Jasper, and Lake City, and Lake City is the biggest of those three
sure.
towns, right, far and away. And but it's not unusual for people in that Tri-County area to gravitate to Lake City.
For sure, and that's one of the biggest selling points, in my opinion, about Lake City. It's not even from our Tri-County area, I guess you could say, of Live Oak and Jasper and Lake City, but you're not far from Tallahassee, you're not far from Jacksonville, you're not far from Gainesville. We really do sit in the perfect triangle, which is why I think a lot of people are finding Lake City and Columbia County a great place to live.
And it's easy because you've got I-75, then you've got I-10 just a few miles
Right.
north of US 90, and wherever you want to go, it's easy. We like to think that there's more Gator fans in Columbia County than there are Seminole fans. Do you have an opinion on that?
I'm a UF alumni. I will say that there are more Gator fans. I'm sure when I share this to my Facebook, my Florida State friends will quickly comment that there are not as many Gator fans. But yeah, that rivalry runs even deep up north. I say north, 40 minutes north of Gainesville. But yeah, I'll say there are more Gator fans.
Yeah, well, they're closer to Gainesville, so that would make sense. I mean, from Lake City, you can get to Alachua County in 25 minutes, and depending on where you're going,
sure.
It's never more than 40 or 50 minutes,
Yeah,
and so, and an awful lot of people who live in Columbia County work in Alachua County and vice versa. People
sure.
in Alachua County. I mean, I talk to folks all the time, doctors and lawyers, or in the medical profession, nurses and stuff, and they go, "Yeah, I live in Gainesville and I commute to Lake City." It's ironic, right? That we think driving 35 or 40 minutes on an interstate, right, is a long, that's a big commute,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you go into a big city, right? You go to Miami, and you can't even go 5 blocks in 30 minutes,
Absolutely.
So in many ways, I think Lake City and Gainesville are very closely related, as far as if the folks in Columbia County have the advantages of coming to Gainesville for certain services that we specialize in, UF Health and things
Absolutely.
like that.
And we've seen a lot of growth in, we'll call them out-of-town businesses from the Gainesville area, the Jacksonville area, the Valdosta area, and even Tallahassee area. becoming members of our Chamber of Commerce because they're doing their research and knowing that Columbia County is on the cusp of a boom, and they want to get in when they can to start laying that groundwork of, you know, just personal relationships with people and getting to know the community so that they do go to hire, they do go to expand, they're already woven into the fabric of our community.
And you know what's impressive is there's a lot of really nice subdivisions of homes, you know, for people that like that kind of lifestyle. You know, west of the I-75 on US 90, that whole area is starting to really grow in a really nice way.
For sure. I don't know how much I can say because those NDAs always get you. You know what that's like. But there are numerous developers who are working on even expanding the residential opportunities. I think it goes for saying throughout the entire state of Florida, there's a little bit of a housing crisis when it comes to availability. But growth is coming in Lake City and Columbia County. A lot of great developers who are looking at building beautiful communities that will, of course, again, help us continue to grow.
Well, and the other important point is that the land is more affordable.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, that's a big deal. I think you can build a home. You know, the land's a little is less. I think sometimes the labor costs might be a little bit less, and that when you go to Columbia County, you can get great value.
Absolutely.
So
sure.
and now, like we were just talking about, there's good jobs available.
For sure.
You know, whether you work right in Columbia County, you go back and forth to Alachua County, people in Alachua County that, you know, that are, you know, going back and forth to Lake City and Columbia County. So it's very, you know, nice to see the growth. And I want to commend you. The downtown area still looks really vibrant.
For sure. Yeah, downtown has a special place in everybody's heart. It's very historic. There are a lot of great properties downtown. I don't know if you've been to the Hotel Blanche yet downtown. It's a hotel, I believe, from 1904 that was renovated by...
Is that near Prohibition?
Prohibition is in that building.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of charm, but also a great just strip for commerce. A lot of foot traffic. The city of Lake City itself has started to do events on their own. There's a barbecue competition coming up, I believe, in 2 weeks. There are markets that take place on the weekend. So it really is a great little community.
Yeah, and so for those of you that enjoy outdoor events, there's a great number of really fun events. There's always something going on.
For sure. One of our biggest events, we do it every fall for those Florida Gator fans, because that's mostly who we care about. We call it Florida Football Bye Week, so it's always before Florida, Georgia. We do a pretty large beer and wine festival every year. It's outside downtown. I'm not a big beer drinker. It is still one of the most fun days of the year.
Yeah, so it's called the Gateway City Craft Beer and Wine Festival.
That's it.
Okay, October 2023.
Yep.
It's coming up. Do we know the date yet? Well, we know the date, October 21st.
21st.
And you know, why is that significant? Of course, not only is it the bye week before that, but Tom Petty's birthday is on that weekend.
Very cool. I didn't know that.
He was born October 20th, and Meldon Law is going to be sponsoring the Tom Petty Festival this year at Heartwood.
Very nice.
And you may not know this, but since I was Tom Petty's first attorney, we always try to help those folks that are doing Tom Petty, tribute. So that's fun. So we've got that. Now, before that, we've got the July 4th celebration, right?
For sure. So, I mean, that pretty much goes without saying when it takes place, but we do host the fireworks for our community. That's always a great event. Another event that we do that has actually recently passed is we do we call it the Chamber Ball every year. It's a black tie formal event. It's a really fun night. It's about 400 people. It's our annual meeting as well. It's a lot of fun.
Where are we having it this year?
That took place, took place in February, and that takes place at the Florida Gateway Fairgrounds. They're a chamber member of ours, and they are always fantastic to work with. And the great thing about that, I mean, it's a large event. With 400 people in the room, it's a great opportunity to show off our members. So the caterers come in, the audio-visual people come in, entertainment comes in, The bartenders come in. We do a really competitive silent auction. It's a really fun night.
Well, so that'll be next February?
Yep, it's February of every year.
And then the Sportsman Showcase, is that still going on?
So we just did that. We have a pretty large golf tournament every year. Listen, I don't know anything about golf, but it's a lot of fun. And if you show up and you're in a golf polo, people ask you questions, and I just point them in the direction I think they should go to. It's about 100 golfers. Again, I don't know anything about golf, but they have a lot of fun. It is very competitive. There are a lot of allegations of cheating every year, and that people are editing their cards. And then we've also added a cornhole tournament to that. I also know nothing about cornhole, but that is a whole industry in and of itself. And it's a lot of fun and very competitive.
So I actually watched on ESPN a cornhole tournament, okay?
Yeah, cornhole is an industry is what I have learned.
Well, the great thing about cornhole is it's cheap, it's inexpensive. You can set it up anywhere, right? You can be tailgating outside a Gator football game. You can be on a farm. You can be in someone's backyard. You can wherever, right? A cornhole tournament is certainly exciting. However, most people just sit around and chat with friends, drink beer, and throw this little bean bag around.
I always laugh. We have what we call the Celebration of Women series, which is actually starting in May of this year. And when it comes to the women's events, I'm a little OCD about everything. I want to know that every fork has been polished and every flower is fresh. When it comes to the cornhole tournament and the golf tournament, which are pretty male-dominated, like, if there's free beer and golf, they don't really care if it's raining, if it's snowing. They're like, what does it matter? Who do we care? But it's always a fun event, those sporting events for us.
Well, that's terrific. So what are some of the elements that you see as far as successful businesses? Can you give our listeners and viewers a little tip? Being in the chamber, you get to see a lot of different businesses. Who are the ones that seem to, rise to the top?
I think it's the ones who get involved and get connected. When somebody joins the chamber, our goal is not just to take your money and cash the check. We have people come to us all the time and we say, you're probably not ready to be a chamber member yet, or you're not far enough along in your business yet to really get involved and get plugged in. It's those people who, if they get plugged in and they start getting connected and building relationships, your business is going to thrive. Specifically in like these rural communities, much like Gainesville or Alachua or Live Oak or Jasper, people want to do business with people that they know. That's the truth of the matter.
And you get to meet a lot of people at the events, and then it seems like there's one event always spawns something else.
For sure. And that's one thing we tell people, because there's always that debate of the chamber's doing too many events. I'm like, those events have a purpose. Obviously it's an event. We have a lot of fun. But that is meant to be a laid-back setting of meeting people. It's a whole lot easier to meet Mr. Meldon at a business after hours than just knock on his door and say, I'd like to schedule an appointment. The goal is that our events are meant to be, you're getting connected, building relationships. Here's a throwback term for a lot of people, building your own personal Rolodex, getting your network of
Rolodex? What's the Rolodex?
Yeah. Your network of people that you're going to do business with and ultimately develop a relationship with.
Well, I'm always looking at, small businesses, and it seems like there's certain folks that understand the fundamentals of starting a business.
For sure.
And it's more than just I can make a really good steak, or I can cook really good, or I know I go to restaurants. It's it's the client experience.
Agreed. And that's one thing, whenever somebody comes to the chamber, we're very transparent with them on what we can and cannot do for them and what are they looking for. Prime example, we had a young lady who works in a female-dominated industry. She owns a female-focused business, and she came to us and said, I want to sponsor the golf tournament. I told her very transparently, this is not your clientele. You're going to waste your money, and I just don't want to take it. And I told her, I said, we have events in like 3 months that are strictly for women. That is your clientele. And she'll end up being a part of those events, because we want to make sure that our members know that we're not just taking their money, but we're investing in their business as much as they're investing in the chamber.
And for a lot of folks, they don't realize exactly what the Chamber of Commerce does. Number one, I think they're trying to get local businesses together, communicate, and help each other build businesses.
For sure.
Number two, you bring educational opportunities to people that they normally wouldn't have on their own.
Absolutely.
And then I think the third thing is you're there to promote businesses that might be interested in moving into town, right?
For sure, and really just advocate for those businesses overall. A lot of times when it comes to various Chamber of Commerces, they say, we advocate for you. And it's really, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? And that means a few things. So we're advocating for our businesses on a state and federal level. I can tell you right now, when our government is currently in session, we have our ear to the ground of things that will affect our businesses, and keeping a hard look at those to make sure that nothing from Tallahassee or Washington is going to come down the pipeline and affect our businesses. And again, it's filling that void of not every business has a lobbyist on the payroll. We are that person for them of stepping in and saying, you should be aware of this. But also making sure that whatever their needs are, that we can realistically meet them so that their business is always thriving. We want to ensure that if they have a business in Columbia County, that their business is continually growing and expanding, and that we're always a valuable resource to them.
Well, the other thing we found is that you really get as much out of it as you put into it.
Absolutely.
You can't just write a check and say I'm a member of the chamber and really, expect to get a whole lot. Right?
And a lot of people hate this analogy, and it's true, and I can say this. It's the gym mentality. I can't be mad that I haven't lost weight, that I'm paying Planet Fitness a monthly fee and I'm not going. I can't hold them responsible. And I tell people all the time, I say, if you join the chamber and you get actively involved and plugged in, and you don't think you got a return on your investment, I will refund the money out of my paycheck. And I've never had anybody tell me I'd like a refund.
No, because if they actively get involved, then they see what the return is. And what more rewarding life can you have to be in a community where you have a lot of friends, people support you, you support them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you see the kids at school, the parents you meet at school, you go to church, you go to your favorite restaurants, you hang out.
Yeah, I like to say that the chamber is the great connector. Whether you're coming into Columbia County to expand your current business and you're saying, I'd like to meet these people, let's connect you. If you're a long-time established Columbia County business and you're saying, I really need somebody to handle my marketing, let me connect you to somebody. Because really, on a personal end, for us, it's all about fostering and developing and strengthening relationships within the chamber membership.
So before we run out of time, let's talk about how to get a hold of you and connect with the chamber.
For sure. So the easiest way to join the chamber is go to our website. It's lakecitychamber.com. If you go on our website, there are 4 buttons. One of them, I think, says become a member or join the chamber. That's the most simple way. As soon as you fill out that application, somebody from our team is in contact with you within less than 48 hours, and then goes from there. The ball starts rolling. That's probably the most simple way. And of course, listen, we tell people, do your research. Follow us on social media. Read over our website. Know what you're getting into, because this does become a relationship. You're investing in us, and we're investing in you, and we want to make sure that we're a great fit for everybody.
So social media, Facebook?
For sure. So we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We're very cool now. We've started a TikTok. So yeah, we're a little bit of everywhere. No matter your demographic, your business, I'm positive there's a way for you to connect with us.
Well, it's very important to connect, and we support a lot of different activities in the community.
For sure.
And it's so much more fun doing it that way.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's like, get involved. You'll find your niche. That's one of the great things about the chamber mixers. If there's 300 or 400 people there, all you need to do is meet 1 or 2 people that you really connect with, and carry that on. Well, we've been talking with Joey O'Hearn, who is the executive director for the Columbia County Chamber of Commerce, Lake City. And we highly recommend that you check out Lake City, you check out Columbia County, and when you decide to, start a business there, call the Chamber of Commerce and ask for Joey, and he'll take good care of you. Thank you very much for joining us on Meldon Law and Friends.